best boxing content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and punch that bell for notifications.
Boxing fans, DiBella Entertainment presents 6 rounds of action in the cruiserweight division. Our judges, Carlos Ortiz Jr., Robert Perez, Steve Weisfeld, and our referee, Sergey Murdoch. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to us tonight from Memphis, Tennessee. He weighed in at 183 pounds, black trunks, gold trim. Professional record, 5 victories, 5 defeats, 1 draw, with 2 wins by knockout. Please welcome Grover, the Cobra Young. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He comes to us tonight from Las Vegas, Nevada. He weighed in at 172 pounds. Red, black, and silver trunks. Professional record, a perfect 9 victories, no defeats. 8 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Badou, Jack the Ripper. Sergey Murdoch has our fighters' final instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, in the spirit of good sportsmanship, I expect for you to conduct yourselves like professionals. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. When I call for a break, I want you to give me a clean break. Now touch gloves and let's go to work.
Tell the tape here, Brian.
Cruiserweights.
Well, these guys, they signed to compete at 175-pound limit. But obviously, Grover Young, he's a shorter guy. He has 11 extra pounds. Look for him to be physical and disrupt the undefeated prospect.
We've seen Badou Jack a couple of times here on Broadway Boxing. Badou Jack in those red trunks. And Grover Young in the black trunks with the gold trim.
And what you want to look for from Badou Jack, one thing, body punching. That is his specialty. When I mentioned it to him yesterday at the weigh-in, a big smile across his face. He loves it.
9-0 Badou Jack is. And you mentioned how important sometimes your amateur career is. 115 amateur fights. And there he goes, right to that body. And Young comes right back.
Badou Jack grew up in Sweden. His mom's Swedish, his dad from Gambia, and he fought in the 08 Olympics for Gambia.
Yeah,
so.
Only boxer ever to represent Gambia in any Olympic Games.
How cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is his first southpaw opponent as a pro.
And early on, I look and I say, first southpaw, no problem. Only because Grover Young is standing in front of him. He got a little offensive there, but for the most part, standing in front of him, he's looking to cover up.
How much did you change your approach when you fought a southpaw for the first time?
I had no problems with southpaws. You know, we've discussed this several times, me and Steve. Okay. My best punch was the jab, in amateurs and even the professional level. And I had no problems landing stiff jabs on southpaws. So I had no problem with southpaws.
Badou Jack having no problems thus far. He hit Young with a body shot, came right back. Nice right to the face. Good right hand, and here comes Young.
And we mentioned, Brian mentioned Young came in at 183, 11 pounds more than Badou Jack. He fought 2 weeks ago, Young, and he was 192, so we should be happy with 183.
He came down in weight.
He's in top shape.
But he should be a little more bit more active than he fought a couple weeks ago. Just not active enough right now.
He touches Jack with the jab and then comes back with the left.
Well, Young certainly landed enough left hands to stay competitive in this first round.
Absolutely. Nice competitive first round between Jack and Grover Young. Badou Jack, you can see he spent most of this rest standing up. All right, round two between Badou Jack and Grover Young.
And I'll tell you, Brian, as small as this ring is, and I'm guessing it's 16 feet square, when these guys come out of their corners, they take one step and they're on top of each other. This is a tiny ring.
You got to be ready.
Badou Jack taking instruction from one of New York's best, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, former WBA light heavyweight champion. And he may live in Vegas, but Eddie will always be Brooklyn.
Brownsville.
And these two are going right at it. Jack, a couple of body shots.
Excellent left hook to the body by Jack.
That was bad with a straight right cross. And Young thought Jack hit him low.
Maybe a soft body there.
You should have seen him at 192 if you think he's soft now.
That's right, he's in shape, I forget.
I'd like to see Badou Jack do a little more upstairs, show a little more diversity, because outside of the body shots, he hasn't done that much.
Well, I think Grover Young has kept his defense kind of tight. He has thrown a few sneaky short left uppercuts on the inside. So Badou Jack is conscious of that.
And here comes Young, misses with that left. Young again, you can see complaining about what he thought was a low shot by Badou Jack.
I think maybe those body shots are beginning to soften him up both physically and mentally.
Oh,
nice stiff jab
absolutely.
by Young. Badou Jack certainly have to be careful defensively when he's stalking Young.
Looks like Jack is warming to the occasion, too. He's letting his hands go a little bit more from the outside.
Yeah, agreed. He's starting to see more, which is why he's staying closer to Young. When you have a guy with a tight, funny, awkward defense, you want to stay close. Because as soon as they go to punch, they open up.
Two rounds now in the books. Badou Jack and Grover Young going 6.
Young keeping his gloves so high is actually doing Jack a favor because Jack has more body to work with.
Badou Jack in those red trunks, black trim. Grover Young in the black trunks, gold trim. Once again, body shot by Jack. Oh, good left hand by Young, but Badou Jack comes back with a nice combination.
Again, I think it serves Badou Jack well if he stays close. He has the quicker hands, throws the shorter shots, and he has the better eyes. So he should certainly stay close. See, right there on the inside, he shouldn't allow Grover Young to counter on the inside. Now Jack is trying to push back the heavier guy.
One thing that's interesting to think about with Jack with his future, when you're a committed body puncher like his, the longer the fights, the better. Because you have more of a chance to work on your opponent's body and weaken him and take advantage later in the fight. In a 6-rounder, it's not, in 4s and 6s, it's not going to come into play as much.
Unless you have a devastating body shot like a Mickey Ward. And then any round, it doesn't matter.
Left hook to the liver, right?
MS Murdoch taking charge in there.
A lot of holding, a lot of punching between these two.
He said break twice. Both guys kept punching.
And it looked like Grover Young, and I think you made this point earlier, Steve, he's breathing more heavy now. Some of those body punches may have taken effect as he tries to pressure Badou Jack against the ropes.
Well, you would think at this point, you can see Young is not the slickest type of guy. His best bet, he's got to keep that left hand going and hope he gets lucky with one and catches Badou Jack at the right point.
Oh, he did catch him with a left hand there.
So you believe in lucky punches, Steve?
Is there such a thing as a lucky punch? I think about Oliver McCall, Lennox Lewis there. I don't know if that was lucky. Is there such a thing?
Now, if a guy closes his fist and throws, and land is not luck. But notice something, guys. After MS Murdoch, referee, broke those two guys and gave them a stern warning, notice they haven't been close. So maybe that strong warning affected both guys.
You can see Badou Jack told Young, bring it. Young connected with a left hand. Jack came back. So action starting to pick up here as Jack went down. That was after the bell. Round 4 now. We're past the halfway point. I tell you, things got a lot more chippy at the end of that 3rd round, and here we go. Young trying to press the action. Coming right at Badou Jack. Hits him with a left hand.
He's letting that left hand go, and he has to do that because he's not matching Badou Jack for work rate. And Jack is landing a lot of those body shots, so Young has to let that left hand go again and again. And speaking of Badou Jack's body punching, he was a top amateur. We mentioned he was an Olympian. Body punching doesn't count for anything in the amateurs, so he probably couldn't wait to turn pro.
Absolutely. Jack participated in the 2008 Summer Olympics. Both men exchange punches.
When Grover Young came out this round, I thought he was going to really try to assert himself. That lasted all of about 30 seconds. And he has stopped really trying to impose his will on Badou.
Oh, right hand by Badou Jack.
Missed, though. Came up short on that right hand.
And regarding Young's 11-pound weight advantage, it doesn't count for much unless you're leaning on your guy. And even though they've been in close a lot, Young has not been leaning on Badou Jack at all.
Now it appears that Badou Jack is getting into a rhythm.
Someone just lost their mouthpiece. I think it was Young.
Grover Young. Badou Jack shouldn't let him. Too late. He tied him up.
Yeah, Young loses his mouthpiece. Gets a nice respite. Here we go.
And sometimes when that mouthpiece leaves the mouth, it can go anywhere, and they can't always find it, which is the reason every commission demands that every corner has 2 mouthpieces for every fight.
Good left hand by Young. Jack comes back with the right of his own. And an uppercut. These guys are centering and exchanging punches.
But on the inside there, Badou Jack, instead of just leaning, he should be trying to step around and punch at the same time. He's just trying to push Grover Young back. The guy's 11 pounds heavier than you. Stop trying to push him. See right there, just keep stepping around. But you have to counter after you step.
Couple of body shots there by Badou Jack.
Yeah, Young is really beginning to show the effects of those body punches.
He's winded. There's the bell. Fifth round. There's a big body shot by Badou Jack. Follows that up with a right hook. Now here comes Young.
I'd like to see Badou just stay committed to that body of Grover Young. When he step around like that, I like the move, but he has to punch off of that. Maybe he step around to the left or right uppercut to the solar plex area.
Badou Jack goes up top, then to the body.
And I want to give a little love to our matchmaker, Joe Chiamba, because you look at Badou's Jack record, 9-0, 8 KOs. Well, he's landed his body punches here. He's against the guy with a record of 6-5-1, and hey, Young is still here. So this is what Badou Jack needs at this point in his career rounds.
Guy certainly not backing down and coming at him.
But also, I mean, it helps the young guy to have a former world champion and very intelligent trainer.
Oh, good left right by Young.
Again, he moves straight backwards. Do not move straight backwards. If you pull out, and guy, all you have to do is move, take a step or two forward and punch.
And Brian was alluding to Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, the trainer of Badou Jack. Eddie was a great body puncher, so that does not hurt Badou Jack's body punching that his trainer is Eddie Mustafa.
Here, Marvin Johnson with that left hook to the body. I felt sorry for Marvin.
Over and over. And what Eddie could do, that Badou Jack is doing too, to a degree, is Eddie could hit you to the body from the outside. A lot of fighters can't do that.
Right, that was his move. He's standing outside, left hook to the body you hit with.
Takes a lot of balance to be able to do that from a distance.
And confidence.
Yeah.
Which is what the most impressive thing about Badou Jack. He's very confident no matter who he fights and what style.
Uppercut by Badou Jack. Young seems to be slowing down here.
Badou Jack 172 for this fight. He says his future's at super middleweight or 168. So he's planning on going down another 4 pounds. Mouthpiece out again.
Yeah.
That was Badou Jack's mouthpiece, I believe.
Final seconds of the round, too. Let's see if Young trying to press the action. It's been a good fight thus far. Brian, how you got it scored?
5 rounds to none, all in favor of Badou Jack.
Boxing fans, put your hands together. This is
I got a 4-1. I gave Young the 5th round.
You felt bad for him, Steve?
You think that's a mercy round? I don't know. I thought he landed enough left hands to give him a round.
I mean, in all seriousness, he did land that long left hand. That was the most telling punch of the round.
6th and final round, and both men coming out, letting the hands go. You hear Grover Young tell Badou Jack, let's go.
Grover Young, 5 losses, but he's been stopped only 1 time. And even though he's taking a beating to the body in this fight, it looks like he's probably going to make it to the distance.
Jack still digging the body of Young. Right hook, glancing right hook by Badou Jack.
Now, granted, I'm not the one taking the body punches. I don't see a lot of power coming from Badou Jack on those body shots. I think he could be a harder puncher. Maybe he just needs to dig his toes into the ground a little bit more.
Agreed. I think they're not hard shots. I think he's just placing shots to the body to try to bring the elbows down. I do not think he has committed to the body punches.
Both guys fighting now on the inside. And here comes Young with a nice flurry.
And to Badou Jack's credit, he has stayed in the chest of Grover Young. Last round, you have to know, he has to know he's winning, but yet he has opted to stay in the chest and fight.
And on top of that, Brian, he's fighting a guy who weighs 11 pounds more at the weigh-in, maybe a lot more now. You know, a lot of guys would just say, I got to stay on the outside and not let this guy near me because he outweighs me by so much. That's not been the case with Badou Jack.
Again, that goes back to what I said earlier, confidence. To compete anyway, inside or out.
Here's Jack, a good body shot with the left hand. Young trying to fight his way off the ropes here. Final seconds, last round.
Guaranteed
Couple of shots
after the bell.
Young. The crowd gives him a nice round of applause.
I think Young has to be stretching. His hand is not raised because he think he won. He has to be stretching.
It was a good effort, though, I'll tell you that.
Well, the official decision is in. Let's go right up to the ring and our ring announcer, Joe Antonacci, and find out who won.
Boxing fans, before we go to the scorecards, how about a round of applause for both of these fighters? 6 action-packed rounds. And after those 6 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Steve Weisfeld scores the bout 60 to 54. Judge Carlos Ortiz 59 to 55. And Judge Robert Perez 58 to 56. All for your winner by unanimous decision. From Las Vegas, Nevada, Badou Jack the Ripper.